I am Marianne Graham. I'm president of the Rutland Residents Association. So our very first speaker will be Kris Stewart, our Liberal candidate.
Thanks to Marianne Graham for having us all here tonight. Can everyone hear me okay at the back? So? Okay. Well, anyways, as I was saying, thanks to Marianne Graham and to everyone for hosting this event. I think it's a really great idea. I really do look forward as well to speaking with each and every one of you afterwards. I really do want to hear what's on your mind. I have to say though, I've never been more convinced that Kelowna and Lake Country are ready for a change. When I'm on the doorsteps talking to people, I can hear the frustration in their voices, and they tell me that they're really worried about pensions, affordable childcare, how they're going to pay for their child's tuition. Some of them are struggling parents. They tell me that they expect more from their government. And they also tell me that they're kind of worried about their future. Canadians, like you, look to your government to help them answer questions that are on their minds and your minds every day. Questions like, as I said, pension security, who's going to look after kids, how can you afford university? And I just want to let you know that we, the Liberal Party of Canada, have heard you. And we've pledged 3 extraordinary policies. The first one is expanding the Canada Pension Plan with an optional supplement called the Secure Retirement Option. The second one is to provide access to early childhood learning and education, as well as childhood care. The third one is the Canadian Passport to Learning. This provides assistance to students who want to attend college and university. Now, I have to tell you, I think the Conservative leader wants you to believe that we cannot afford to invest in our children, that we can't afford to help seniors live with dignity. Yet at the same time, he's slashing taxes to Canada's largest corporations, passing crime bills he has not fully costed out, and writing blank checks for untendered stealth fighter programs. The only thing we cannot afford are the misguided priorities of Harper's Conservatives. They are not the priorities of the people of Kelowna Lake Country. Here in our city, I witnessed the violent arrest of Buddy Tavares and the slow turn of the wheels of justice. I agree with Superintendent McKinnon. I agree that we need a clear, fair way to deal with such incidents and demonstrate to the public that they can trust the police. That's why, like Superintendent McKinnon, the Liberal Party and I support civilian oversight of the RCMP. In our community, as you know, living in Kelowna is really getting too expensive. People can't find houses that they can afford. The Liberal Party will embark on a national housing strategy that engages municipal and provincial levels of government, as well as the business community, to be able to expand access to affordable housing. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people who are in a little bit of a fix trying to find affordable housing. Having grown up on a ranch, I know also how vulnerable farmers and orchardists are to powers beyond their control, like poor economy, bad weather.
30 seconds.
In the last budget, Conservatives slashed about $400 million from the Department of Agriculture, including $250 million from risk management programs. A Liberal government would preserve that funding and add more. You, the people of Kelowna, you've got a choice. And you can choose a party focused on its own priorities or one focused on yours. We, the Liberal Party of Canada, are focused on solutions.
Okay, well, thanks very much for inviting me to sit here with you today. I guess what I would want people to know about me is that I'm a nurse. I have an MBA. I grew up in BC on a ranch, and I have very humble roots. So I know what it's like to, belong to rural Canada and some of the challenges that faces. I also know what it's like to grow up on a ranch and, be a field hand and drive a tractor and drive a swather and throw the bales around and stack the truck. I know what that's all like. I also know what it's like to, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. I know what it's like to have to look around for funds for a student loan. Thankfully, the Liberal Party came up with Canada Student Loans many years ago, and I've been a happy recipient of those quite frequently. So anyways, I grew up in BC on a ranch. I obtained my RN diploma at Caribou College in Kamloops. I completed that 24 years ago. And after working in Kamloops for a year, decided I wanted to find my fortune. Actually, what it was spread my wings from a career perspective. So I drove down to the US for a 3-month nursing contract, which turned into 8 years. Life has a way of getting in the way of life. So anyways, North Carolina was a great experience because I worked in a private run-for-profit hospital, and I became a nursing supervisor within 2 years of being there, which would have been almost unattainable for me in Canada. So I worked in the hospital for about 5 years, looking after critically ill and seniors and kids and adults and medical surgical patients. And I started a home health, state-certified home health agency down there because I saw an unmet need in the community. And I also began my Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree at the University of North Carolina. Finished that, got into competitive sports, did well in podium placements with each competition I went into. I was very homesick though. I spent 8 years there, and so in June of '97 I came back home to my family, who I dearly missed. And there was a hiring freeze on in BC for nurses, so I couldn't get a job as a nurse in the regular places I would have thought I could. So I took a job as an outpost nurse. I had some advanced scope of practice experience in the US, and plus a degree and occupational health nursing experience. So it gave me a very good basis for beginning to work as a de facto nurse practitioner. So I worked in remote, isolated BC and Arctic communities, and even wound up doing some contracts with Health Canada as a medical officer on a Coast Guard ship, and I was seconded to be the medical liaison officer for the Swiss Air incident at Peggy's Cove. So I did that. I worked on the recovery vessel, lived over top of the debris field for a month, and participated in briefings and developed the policies that I needed to keep the workers safe. So that was an interesting contract. Anyways, I came back to Kamloops after being 4 months at sea, and began working in Emerge and just doing some contract work for hospitals, or casual work rather for hospitals. And I came to Kelowna in 1999 on another nursing contract for a Fortune 500 company, and it was a short-term contract. When that was completed, I began teaching nursing here at private and public colleges, and I've loved doing that. I started my nursing master's in 2001, and started my MBA in 2003, which I completed in 2006, and I've worked as a nurse manager in Kelowna for the last few years. I've enjoyed that. I currently work as a nurse clinician for a private home health company, and I own and operate a bed and breakfast. What got me into politics is that by the fall of 2010, I began to get really incensed at what I saw going on in Ottawa. And so I phoned up the Liberal Riding Association, because the Liberal Party is who I've always has aligned with my core values. So I phoned up the Riding Association, and I just told them how upset I was at what Stephen Harper was doing, all the misdeeds and the shenanigans. And I just said, you know, use me in whatever aspect you can. I'll be a volunteer. Tell me how I can help, because I think we need to try to get this party in this riding and in power in Canada. And let me know how I can help. So they looked at my CV and asked me if I would consider running as a nominee in a contested nomination race. And so I did that, and I won the nomination race and became the candidate. And so today I am the candidate. I've been going out to the community. I've knocked on probably 1,000 doors myself. I've spoken to dozens, if not hundreds of people on the phone. I've met with people on their doorsteps. I've met with people in their places of worship. I've addressed the parishioners at a couple of different places of worship. And I've talked at some forums, and I believe that the people in this riding will have their needs best met by the Liberal Party.